Alright. There we go. Hello, 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 everybody. Bring the music down a little bit more. How goes everybody on said Thursday? Ghostly, welcome in. Opresoria, welcome. Ugh. I'm only 2,000 points away from being financially stable again. Oh, yeah. Ghostly. You equating financial stability to tort coins. I wish it was so easy. But that is good. I'm glad that you are nearing, perhaps even this stream. You will manage to acquire enough points. Oh, Maya, hello. Thank you so much for that once again. Huzzah. Thank you for the subscription. That is very kind of you. How goes it? It's going all right. I had to deal with work all day today, so I got no writing done, and I'm very grumpy about it. So I'll probably have to do I'll have to take I don't know. I'll have to probably work late tonight to try to get caught up because I was dealing with work messages, life nonsense. If I don't have at least 30k, I'm in impoverished. Okay. Take my free. Well, I will take your free, Maya. I will absolutely take your free Prime. Freeish? I know. Yeah. Yep. Hey, Moon Runes, welcome in. I hope you are feeling much better. Fish. Yes, this is Old Man Koi. Old Man Koi is a character in the script, and actually, the scene that we left off yesterday, and that we are on today, is when they first encounter the last surviving fish in the mansion, the old lady's house, the one that they will eventually rescue in the script. Old Man Koi. Moon Runes, today's been great. Oh, I'm glad, Moon Runes. I am glad today's been great. I hope you're still kind of in that euphoric, like, I've left a toxic, terrible job and can, like, embrace just some sense of not having to go to an awful place. I do remember that I stopped working at Taco Bell because I just wanted to play D&D. And I remember when I realized that they were going to fire me for calling in sick too many days. And I worked the night. I worked from like 10 p.m. to about 4 a.m. when I was in college. And I don't know. I remember feeling this sense of just, I was poor, but I just felt this sense of like bliss, not realizing I didn't have to go into Taco Bell and deal with a bunch of drunk people at 2 o'clock in the morning. Fishy fish. Yes, exactly, Ghostly. Exactly. Where might this fish have gone? But yes, so we're finally getting to the fish. There's two strange spirit animals in the script that I'm going for. There's Old Man Koi and then there's Eel. And Eel is this sort of cynical, like, the world is coming to an end, definitely leaning into the apocalyptic elements of every story. Like when you watch movies about like Los Angeles that are very much like there's always this like sense of apocalypse and doom. I think it comes from like earthquakes, but all of them have this sense that everything is coming to an end. Eel kind of represents that, while Old Man Koi is the sort of like generalized act of compassion and kindness is kind of what they come to figure out. Let's see here. I'm not used to having so much time on my hands. Like, what am I to do? Right? You just knock it out. Hopefully it just means that you can relax, recover, and if you feel like it, get some words done. I mean, you've already got plenty of words done, but get the words done. Fish. I think. Oh, you'll be able to finish the Punchline Pros today. That's the goal. Oh, yay! Good, good, good. Holy crap, deja vu. I've been here before. I think I will finish the. You mean thinking you're gonna finish it today? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. You probably. I mean, it depends how much you have to go, but you tend to be able to like knock things out pretty quickly, Ghostly. So I wouldn't be shocked. Oh, I've said those words before. Oh, about koi and eel. Oh, about L.A. Oh, that might make sense. Yeah, I was watching a bunch of like L.A. hangout movies, and that was, um, oh, about L.A. I think I dreamt that last night. Weird. Oh man, premonitions, perhaps premonitions. For now gonna finish. I'm gonna lurk and finish my nap. Oh, well, have a delightful nap, Maya. That sounds. I need more naps in life. Thank you so much. Good luck with the nap, and we'll see you when you come back. Um, and of course, thank you so much for the free sub, Maya. Very very thank you. Oh yeah, just let me know when you want me to do that, Maya. That's what I'm planning tomorrow morning. I have some stuff to do tonight, and Sims became a thing again. Well, that Sims always becomes a thing. That's like me with Baldur's Gate right now. Um, yep, okay, yep. I figured as much, Maya. Just be sure to come back. Yeah, because I will do 4 sprints today, and I usually try to get through to have 2 sprints available for those who redeem the work. So we give a good like hour 20 minutes to the work. Um, do do do. Oh, you did weird. I like those specific words. That was strange. Oh, really interesting. I mean, I've probably said it before, because it's definitely a thing. Okie smoky dokey. All right, Maya. I've probably said that before. I wouldn't be shocked if I haven't. I'm pretty sure I've said that was like a trend. Um. Oh, Ghostly. I mean, you can kind of tone it down depending on what you want to do, but yes, if you want to lean into that, you can absolutely lean into the scandalous nature of that game as much as your heart's desire. But you can also not. It's kind of based on it's kind of based on what you what you want out of it, Ghostly. Were you watching streams of it? Um, I was watching. I was playing Sims last night, and I felt like I blinked, and it was 4 a.m. and I was like, "Yeah, right, 100%." Jesus, Maya. Uh, yeah. No, I mean, because you can play that game in the nude. That's why is like depending on how much you want to do that game, and also it depends on who you want to like partner up with. You can romance anyone in the game, and it will have romantic scenes. But you can also choose to ignore all that, Ghostly. It's very easy to just turn all that stuff off. Um, do do do. Yeah, I feel like Moon Runes. I feel like that's a big, big thing with The Sims. Is that it's why I can't play. It's why I can't. It's why I can't play like real time strategy games anymore, like StarCraft type games or Age of Empires, is because I will just be working like doing the game, and then the next thing I know the sun's coming up, and I was like, well, I somehow have just ruined the entire next day. Um, Ghostly, that happens too much in my real life, D and that happens too much in my in real life D&D campaign because my friends are ridiculous. Oh, that it gets scandalous. Uh, that the does your game get scandalous, Ghostly? I mean, your friends sometimes D&D can get ridiculous, but usually it's pretty cartoony. I hope it doesn't get too real. Uh, Speaking of which, mild D&D tea, Violet. I'm always there for D&D tea. I do love me people talking about their campaigns. It takes over my life, Moonrunes. Same. I feel you there. I definitely. Um, you remember the clown that I said read Lolita as a love story? Wait, who read Lolita as a? Oh, is this part of like the Oh, in the D&D game. Okay, it's like the right? Are you talking about in the D&D game, like the weird guy who like kidnaps everybody and like you had to like, he's still alive apparently, and you skinned him alive. Okay, yes, Pied Piper guy. Yes, yes. Exactly. Hey, Babacus, Narcissus and King Arthur. To answer your question, who? What question? What question was that? Oh. Remember remember read. I was like, I don't know many people who read Lolita as a love story. It's like you missed the point of the book. Creepy Pied Piper dude, got it. Okay, so you were able to skin him alive. Oh, got you. What boys hang around the ponds? Oh, I'm sorry, Babacus. Yes, yes. You're not wrong. Narcissus and King Arthur would be the two primary. No. Gotcha. Went right over my head, Babacus. I forgot that that's what I had titled the stream name for. Yeah. But yes, that's in reference to the script I'm working on, Pond Boys. So I always make some weird joke about boys and ponds. Well, I'm glad you skinned him alive, Ghostly. So that's good. See, you took the strange Pied Piper man and you managed to murder him. Your friends flash their enemies and the DM just says roll for psychological damage. I'm pretty sure that's a Monty Python sketch, Maya. It's straight up a Monty Python sketch. Yeah, apparently Pied Piper is kicking. Okay. All right. So we added that to the to-do list. Well, I'm glad. I definitely am in support of your D&D party going after the creepy the creepy Pied Piper man. Well, I'm glad your D&D party and your in real life D&D game is going ridiculous, and hopefully you destroy them. Pond boys, more like pond boys. Pied Piper of the Pond. Yeah. That's. I must have Monty Python mind because I'd never really Maya. Yeah. I can see it. A little bit of your sense of humor might lean into Monty Python. I'd highly recommend it. It's very good. I'm big. I grew up on Monty Python, but there's a pretty good bit with. They're very good at like subverting expectations. I'll just say that. But on the upside, through some strange means of events, my character is establishing a relationship with Sherlock Holmes. How does that work? You've met Sherlock Holmes. I mean, hey man, multiverse. Clearly, you're moving into some multiverse timeline stuff. Monty Python's Pied Piper of the Perilous Pond. That in of itself is a Monty Python joke. Well done, Babacus. Well done. Absolutely. That could be a Monty Python sketch. Monty Python's Pied Piper of the Perilous Pond. I mean one of my favorite bits of all time is the Monty Python from Monty Python the Holy Grail bit where they talk about the problems with like with like anarcho collectives and like and royalty and feudal society, where he's like, listen, strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basic form of government. Supreme executive power derives from a mandate from the masses, not from some farcical aquatic ceremony. Anyway, one of my favorite bits of any comedy movie ever. D&D is strange, man. I don't ask questions anymore. Yeah, I think you're clearly doing some timey-wimey madness. Think Sherlock Holmes, but magical. The character is a type of Sherlock Holmes, but magical and chief of a special crimes unit. Oh dear, Ghostly, yeah. It sounds like you do. You got yourself a Scotland Yard, a magical Scotland Yard, romantic interest. That's what it sounds like. Ugh. It's so dumb, but it's a good time. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I've had my serious, very, globe-trotting Lord of the Rings-esque D&D campaigns that were emotionally intense and, you know, a very good time. And then, but sometimes the ones you remember the most are the dumbest of the dumbest games. Sometimes those are the ones you remember. So no shame in that. That's funny. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But I'm glad. So you've got, as far as I understand this D&D game, you've got Creepy Pied Piper Man. You've got a magical crimes detective unit that you're either working. Now we call ourselves the MU crew, standing for Most Unintelligent Crew. Gotcha. That's good. That's not bad. That works. The last major campaign, I think they eventually called themselves the Bastards of Bexia, but they had a lot of names that were like the morons of this and the people the people who ruined the world, that, you know. Pronounce Moo Crew. Okay, yes. I think Moo Crew, which I think makes it better. Moo Crew. Yeah, instead of MU. Moo. I gotcha. I feel like you need like I feel like you need a second U there to make the Moo really. I mean, I guess Moo works. No, Moo works. No, you're right. Moo works. In Japanese, it would be pronounced Mu. MU would be pronounced Mu. So that works. Although what's funny is that the Japanese version of that would be Nothing Crew. Or Empty Crew. And the reason I know that is because it's a play on the Chinese Wu, which is for like nothing or negation or something like that. But one of my favorite Japanese filmmakers, who all he did was make domestic dramas about like fathers and daughters and like family drama films. But that's like selling him very short. He's probably the greatest director who's ever lived. But the cool thing about him is this guy who just made these like domestic Japanese dramas. When he died, all that's written on his gravestone is Mu, which means nothingness. And that feels like the most metal thing for like a Japanese director who just made movies about like domestic dramas to put on his gravestone. And I was just like, you are my life hero. You are my hero, sir. His name was Ozu. So, great filmmaker. The trauma runs and swells in our humorous, tragic little band. Oh, the trauma? Oh boy, oh no. I mean, I do like the humorously tragic little band. That's a good way of I feel like that's a good way to describe most D&D parties. The trauma runs and swells. So Nothing Crew is also accurate. Got it. Okay. Good. So see, there you go. It has double meaning and both work. That's good, Gibsley. It's exactly what you need a name like that to do. Oh man. All right. We feel bad we're getting started late today, but such is the life of adult life. Thank you so much, Opresoria. Run those ads, and then we'll probably get started with our sprints right after that. So, gonna get started a little bit earlier than usual on the sprints. Just to try to make up time. Accidentally smart. That's how I got through high school. You know, Ghostly, sometimes it's normal to just stumble your way to being brilliant. No, most people don't. A lot of people work at it, but some people just stumble right into it. That's what happens. How are you, Wildlight? I'm doing well. I'm generally a little grumpy that I did not get. Usually I try to get like 3-4 hours of writing in earlier before I stream. And I did not today. I had to take care of a bunch of other things. So anytime I have to deal with life stuff, I'm always just like blah. But other than that, I'm doing all right. Doing okay. Doing okay. I'm so rude. Stone me with stalactites. You're not rude, Ghostly. You're fine. That might be the Southern hospitality going too far in one way. I'm sorry to hear this, my friend. Life can indeed be such a pesky little thing. It tends to impose itself upon you in ways that are not appreciated sometimes. But it's fine. It's just work, bureaucratic life nonsense. So I also have noticed that now that I'm kind of like trying to get back onto like a proper like exercise routine just to try to keep myself, in shape and healthy. I have noticed because I was sick I was on and off sick at the beginning of the year. So it's been like 4 months, 3, 4 months since I've like had a routine. I have noticed that getting back onto that routine has caused me to sleep for like 8 hours, which I am not used to. I don't know how much most people sleep out there, but I tend to sleep like 6.5, 7 hours most a night, and I am not used to 8 hours or sleeping anywhere near like 8.5 hours. So I'm also dealing with that. I'm also like, wait, I'm waking up late. I'm like sleeping through my alarm. What is happening? Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. I need to go back to my I barely sleep. I've said it once, I've said it endlessly. Pond Boys will exalt itself when it's ready. Like a caterpillar in its cocoon, it takes time to blossom into its final form. I am trying to take your advice with that, Ghostly. I am trying to lean into not a fan of sleep. Right, Opera Soria? Maybe that's why I complain about naps all the time. But I think that's... I'm trying to let that advice sink in a little bit. I think when I wrote the cyberpunk rom-com, I knocked that out. I didn't do a lot of revisions on that. That script came out pretty cooked. And I think it's not fair to try to assume that that's going to happen with every other script, particularly ones where you put a lot of like pre-thought into. And I'm trying, particularly because this one's a little bit more difficult in what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be a little bit kinder with that, but I also feel like I'm running out of time because I do try to get 3 to 5 scripts done a year, and I have been kind of languishing on this script. I mean, originally I wanted to have this script written last year, and I was doing prep work for it last year, so I feel behind. I'm prepping those mech movies too. I have another horror movie I want to write in the second one, so it's kind of I'm just feeling like I'm falling behind, but I do think that the script requires the dedication to let it cook, and I agree with that. I do agree that it does need to kind of become its thing, and that's okay. I speak only for me, but every time I have rushed my work, I haven't liked it. I think that's a good that's yeah that's good advice, Ghostly. Now see, I'm also as a streamer, I am very good at trying to dish out advice and then not taking it. I'm very good at this. I'm very good at whatever advice you hear me give on stream. I am probably the worst defender of it. Hence why I can give said advice, because I'm like, man, I wish I was smart enough to listen to myself. Anyway, when I say there's so much love, but your 5 scripts a year is arbitrary. That's true. You're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Ghostly. It is completely arbitrary, and so is the me being in my mid-30s and trying to be a director, because so much pressure is put on you for trying to be a wonderkind filmmaker by the time you're in your late 20s, early 30s, and now I'm like, I'm already old. I'm already too old to be a director, and that's, or to break into the industry or whatever. It is true. Hollywood is obsessed with youth in a very toxic way, but you are not, you aren't too old for a thing. That is true. You can get into directing, writing, these things. All age requirements for that, or who did what when at what age, is all arbitrary. Progress is indeed progress. I have to go for a little bit. Got to pick up my sister and her daughter, but I'll be back soon. Of course, good luck with the picking up, and we will be doing our sprints here, Moonrooms. Will you be more fulfilled with 5 scripts, 5 scripts or one that you would love to death? That is true. You're not wrong. Yeah. My answer to that is, of course, always going to be one that I would love to death. But the other reason is also because when I try to make a script, I'm committing to that script for like 3 years of my life, or sometimes in the case of like the film that got cut into the short film, 4 years of my life. So you really gotta love it. You really gotta love it. So maybe yeah. Now I realize this sword is double edged with my down on the ground. But I know I'm right. You're not wrong, Ghostly. You are not wrong. Or your head, right down your head. Gotcha. Your head on the ground, but I know I'm right. You're not wrong, Ghostly. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. He's arbitrary with my head lobbed off on the ground. Right. Yeah, not wrong. Not wrong at all. But yes, with these words of inspiration and wisdom that Ghostly has given us, including myself, as I should definitely be heeding those words more than I'm inclined to at the moment. Why don't we dive in to our first sprint of the day? So we'll go ahead and get a rolling. I hope if you are working, writing, it is a productive sprint. And if not productive, that, yeah, it's, it's progress. Any progress is progress, as Ghostly eloquently put. All right, everybody. Happy writing. We'll see you all on the other side, and away we go. Oh. Oh, man. Jeez, I didn't realize that was the end of the sprint already. Alrighty, everybody. This is the end of our first sprint. Bum, bum, bum. Bow. Boo! Hopefully it was a productive sprint for everybody out there. Moon Rune, seems like you were able... Well done. Well done. And in the extent of a sprint, you were able to go... go and do a pickup. So well done. Well done. Perfectly timed. All went well. It's beautiful outside. Oh, that's good. I'm glad. I know you were dealing with weather yesterday, I think. So, all right, we'll start the down timer. Oh, I think it's like a phrase. Ghostly, like yeah, it's worth a shot. Yeah, does that mean I should switch to diesel? Like nothing seems working. Time to go for diesel. I think it's like a turn of phrase, not literally do diesel. But hopefully everybody is doing well. Okay, we'll definitely need to run ads before we start up our next sprint. But we got the down timer. All right, yeah. I was actually getting off to a good start writing wise, and then everybody started everyone started messaging me again. Just like, wait, I'm literally I'm like, we just spent 5 hours talking about all this. Why are you still talking to me? Ugh. Oh, yeah, probably in a few minutes. Are we talking about gas prices or star signs? It's very similar things. Here's my tinfoil hat thing. It's all the same. It's all the same. It's all... Gas prices are dictated by the astrological signs, and it's all ethereal. None of it means anything. None of it means anything except for what we determine what it means, and that in of itself gives it its power. Let's see. Oh yeah, I know, Cryptid, you've been going through so much right now. Since it started, we have had retaining wall collapse, a 1K boiler part die. Oh my god, a boiler part died? Yep, the nor'easter for sure. Yeah, I remember that. Taxes. Oh no, your taxes got messed up. Jeep needs new tires. Broke a floorboard in the loft. Oh no. Oh no. I'm sorry, Cryptid. That's a drag. That's rough. Oh, and I figure the gas prices were just rich people. I mean, no, they are. It's 100%. That's what it is. It's what we call it's the wealthy people that can just dictate and price fix and then just squeeze everybody dry. That's how this works. Not to be that guy where but if Joe Biden is an ethereal, I'm taking Uber to a black hole. That's, if you think Joe Biden has anything to do with gas prices, that is also as ethereal as anything. It's the gas. It's just gas people. There's a reason why all that stuff. It's just all it is just there's a thing called a capital strike, which is the opposite of what a labor strike would be. It is absolutely a racket. I will never forget my father always used to say, my father and I are very opposite sides politically for sure, but the one thing we've always agreed on, I remember he would always tell me, was the United Racket, or it was something about the United States of Racket or something like that. It was something like essentially the whole thing is a racket. And you're not wrong. It's just wealthy people being mean and utilizing their wealth and influence and power to essentially break the souls of everybody else alive. I'm so tired of things breaking. I've done so much witchcraft. You can only do so much witchcraft, Cryptid. What else can you do? I'm sorry, that is rough. I feel really bad for you. Having everything break on that is not fun. Ghostly holds up a racquetball, and not the good kind. Exactly. That's something needs to be done moment. The racket player has to go take on the corruption and scandal and broken system of a society. Yeah, I definitely, this whole week has felt odd. I had 3 jobs lined up for the month of April. They weren't big jobs by any stretch of the imagination, but they were 3 jobs, and just, it was like, all right, fine, that'll all work. And they all just sort of vanished. And usually when a job gets canceled or something, they'll let you know. You'll get a message that a job canceled. Like, they just disappeared. Like, they didn't even contact me, and that's the kind of thing that always makes me nervous, because that's like, things have gone very badly if they are unable to communicate with you. It's not a good sign. So that's the thing. Oh, ad starting. So anyway, yeah, that was kind of how it started, and everything that's happened in the following week has been concerning. So the vibes are weird. Definitely not a fan with the vibes. So we called in the in-laws to discuss withdrawing from the 401k, because we've never done that. And today I got to give the accountant what for, because now a man owes us a fair chunk of change. So yeah, that happens too. Yeah. Yep. I have not actually, that I had to do that last year due to the strikes. I had to pull. I had a savings account, like a Roth IRA, that I was, and I had to pull. I had to almost clear it out. Luckily I still have some money in there, but I almost completely emptied that account just to be able to like keep paying rent and survive. Last year was bad. Last year was a very bad year. Last year, and this year isn't much better. It's better, but it's like, I'm still like gripping my seat, just like, oh shit. So it's rough out there, man. It's not fun. But I hope that gets taken care of, Cryptic, because I know that that's a nightmare, and that actually is a huge nightmare for taxes too. Anytime you have to mess with like a Roth IRA or 401k or any of that stuff, it's unnecessarily complicated for whatever reason. Hey, Crime Clowns is a commentary on government control and how it's awful no matter what you do because humanity. Yeah. I mean, it's any type of control. It could be government control, it could be corporate control. There's no real difference. It's hierarchy is the if you want to do a critique on anything, always critique systems. Systems. That's the lefty in me talking, because always look to the systems that create hierarchy and imbalance, particularly economic imbalance and social imbalance. There's a lot more to do with systems than it does people. But it gets there. Loan for the tires, 401k. Okay, yeah, can hopefully cover a new water heater. It's just a gauntlet. I get it, Cryptid. Yeah, that's rough. I'm so sorry. Not to be a Debbie Downer. It's okay, Ghost. It's the vibes, man. We go through the down times and the high times. It's just how it is sometimes. Twilight, not you too. Yeah, I know. There's an upside, I promise. Ghostly doesn't do the bleak. 100. Yeah, I know. You always try to leave it with a little bit of positive. You don't want to be completely cynical. Just a little bit of cynical. Just a hair cynical. But you don't want hopeless. I think the thing is like, you can be a downer, you can even critique things, but hopelessness is the worst thing you can have. I think the feeling of hopelessness, and if a story is fundamentally hopeless, I bounce off of it, because it's such a defeating point that I have a problem with that. There's no point at that point. Like, just lay down and die then, I guess, it's like, why do this? So, let's see here. There's an upside, I promise. I had to email the publisher because my work review was off, because apparently the guidelines I was given and what this other pub house person has are not the same. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yep. This other publishing house person has are not the same. Ugh, it's exhausting, Cryptid. I've not received a response in 1 week. Oh, no. I've had 2 stress migraines in 2 days. Yep. Ghostly accurate as hell. Yep. See, but my take is the Anarchist won, and what are we left with? Spoiler if still bad. Interesting. Okay. I'd be curious what the take on the anarchy thing is. But yes, I do. I would say it depends what the take on anarchy is. Is the anarchy like, or is it like, there's a lot of different types of anarchy out there, So it's like, if you're just doing like complete system dismantlement of like any sort of state or structure or system of authority or system of of society, that's very like Dark Ages Europe. You know, you can look at that and be like, okay, this is what happened after the Roman Empire fell. Um, I enjoy the absurd clowns burn Congress. I mean, that's deeply funny. I do appreciate that. That is really, really funny. Yeah, see, this is the thing is, because then you look at like the Mad Max movies, and the Mad Max movies are a really interesting examination of like what I guess you would call anarcho-capitalism, anarchist capital, which is essentially which all anarcho-capitalism is just going to result in feudalism. If you look at any breakdown of how like when you completely withdraw any sense of like state mitigation, you're going to get essentially a form of feudal society. Yeah, people have fiefdoms and they control resources, and the resources that they get in control, they can dictate to the society beyond that. If you want like a really good example of like, I guess, left anarchism, a sort of leftist take of anarchism, I would read the book. The one book I would, or listen to it, is I would say is read The Dispossessed, because I think the one problem is people always tend to assume that like anarchism is exclusively like a just individual, like it's very the sort of egotist examination of anarchism, where it's like individuals rule all, there's no sort of like social cohesion at that point, it's just people doing what they want at any given time, and that's how that works. And that is not what, like when you look at like the Russian anarchists, and you look at like obviously like Le Guin and David Graeber, like some of these guys, some of the people that were anarchists or a form of anarchists, like type leftist anarchists, it's a fundamentally different system. But if you do want to know anarchism, someone actually postulating an anarchist society, both its problems and its benefits, I would highly recommend the book The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. But if you're going for like, okay, I got it, you think The Purge, but all the time and with more mimes, yeah, that's great too. Yeah, that sounds much more like Ghostly. There's subcultures and communities, but it's a dog eat dog Wild West. Yeah, that's very. You're leaning into kind of like anarcho-capitalism at that point, like a type of people establishing fiefdoms, and that's about it. The Purge is an interesting thing, yeah, because The Purge is kind of like a social satire of that in a way. But I refuse to believe anarchy would be worse than this capitalist hell. An anarcho-capitalist society absolutely would be. A purely like leftist, as a pretty much a leftist anarchist-leaning person, I would probably say that no, I don't think it would be worse than the capitalist hellscape we live in right now. I think it would be much better than it is now. No, I'm more about anarchy as it stands, a counterculture movement towards community versus police. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can look at it in both ways. It's a complicated history that we tend to eradicate because it benefits power structures as they stand to eliminate the histories of people trying to find alternative ways of establishing states or societies. A really good example of a modern day anarchist collective, well, they're confederalists, is look at Rojava in the Middle East, in the autonomous unoccupied zone between Turkey. But they were the ones that were famously like the women fighting ISIS. That had like, it was like the egalitarian, like women had equal rights as men in the Middle East. I would highly recommend looking into them because they're a really interesting experiment in how an anarchist society can be attacked by both Turkey and ISIS and still function as a society and be an anarchist society. And it's based off the writings of Abdullah Öcalan, who is still in prison in Turkey, and then the social and economic theorist Bookchin. But if you're interested in left anarchism, I would highly recommend looking at Rojava. There's my lesson for the day. But yes, Ghostly, I do enjoy like a Mad Max with I do enjoy a Mad Max with mimes though, or like that kind of vibe. It's a dumb little thing with the intention of an underlying dialogue about morality and how people should live, with the intention being we never actually get an answer. I like that, Ghostly. I like that. I like the idea that I mean there is you can deep dive into that for sure. I definitely, in my philosophy days, was very interested in the difference between um, values and ethics, or I should say, valuation and morality. Or at what point do values become moral judgments? So you can get there's a lot you can get in. You can mine a lot out of that. So it's a very like very good. Yeah, my Max Mad Mimes. Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's kind of the vibe you're doing a little bit. It really is, and that kind of like come on. I mean, a Morton Joe in Fury Road literally has makeup on. Like he's kind of a mime. Like he's got the white face paint. I mean, they're kind of doing mime things. You watch like the Road Warrior, they're all in like weird gimp outfits and like it's kind of, it's got a vibe for sure. So that is mime apocalyptic mimes is a it's got a vibe. It's a well established like vibe for sure. A good vibe, I would say. All right. Shall we dive into our sprints part 2? Try to actually get some writing done now that I'm getting messaged constantly. All right, everybody. Let's get to words. We will see you on the other side. Hopefully the sprint is productive. And hopefully the mimes, hopefully Ghostly, you can bring your mime apocalypse mime to a conclusion. All right, okay. Wilight's film critique course, mimes and film. I will 100% do that. I will do that. Because there's mimes and film. There's a lot there. All right, everybody. Happy writing, and away we go. Except instead of desert, it's New York. Except it's New York. It's Big Bad City. Yeah, exactly, Ghostly. All right, happy writing, everybody. right, everybody, that is the end of our second sprint. Hopefully it was a productive and or chill sprint. Things were done. Playing Sims was had. You finished, Ghostly. Well done. Congrats. Well done. That was your goal, wasn't it? Oh, currently proofreading. Well done. You did it. Look at you, Ghostly. Boom. Nailed it. Awesome. All right, we are going to start the down timer. Hang out for a short bit, and then the next two sprints we are going to be reading. Oh, what happened? What? Like I lost everything. There we go. Okay. I was like, what? Boom. There we go. Where are we running? Why are we sprinting? Exactly. It occurs to me now that it reads differently because as a story, it's still kind of in screenplay mode. I mean, that could be interesting. Yeah, it's not necessarily worth changing at the immediate, like at this immediate moment, but that's pretty. It could be cool. There are books that are written in that way, for sure. All right, so let me bring this out here. But we are going to be reading Maya's work on stream for the next two sprints. So everybody here, you know the drill. If you are working, proofreading, making things happen, feel free to mute during the sprints. Boop, boop, boo. There we go. All right, there we go. All right. Hell yeah, Ghostly. Well done. Indeed, yeah. Big thing. You're always knocking it out of the park, Ghostly. Getting that stuff done. I don't plan on changing it. I think it's a style thing. I just find it interesting. That's cool. Yeah. It could be. I know a few novelists who do. I had to stop myself from writing in current tense. Yeah, I was gonna be like, I do know some novelists who have written in current, like, present tense. What have you done to me? Why that? Hey, I have the opposite problem where when I have to write prose, it's really hard for me to keep writing in past tense because I so easily default into present tense. Just because that's like all I write. So. Yeah, we're crossing wires, Ghostly. It's okay. It happens. It happens. Bum 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 bum. I think it reads like a comic book without the pictures. That's cool, Ghostly, and that is how a good screenplay should read, honestly. But this obviously you get to have all the prose and the detail that you want to be able to have that in a screenplay form you might have to cut around. So that's cool. Every Wendig book is in present, every single one. Oh, is it really? I didn't know that. Okay. All right. Well, I am out of tea, but that should be okay. I don't think that'll be a thing. All right. I use sound effects, which I don't usually do. Yeah. I don't know if I've done that in prose. That's interesting. I do that in screenplays. And that is the only reason I do it in screenplays is because I remember I told you I tend to write my screenplays to kind of have the same voice that I have when I'm DMing, and I do sound effects a lot when I'm DMing, so that's kind of where that comes from. Because some people tell you don't do that, but I've never gotten a particular note about that, and I don't think I overuse it. And I put in very minimal detail. I want to give dots for the reader to connect. Very cool. That's cool, Ghostly. I like that. He only writes in present. Works well. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing, too, is I do feel present tense works way better for horror. It's a really easy way to put you in... to create tension and put you in this moment where you can build tension, like, because you're usually in the character's point of view. In that exact moment, they don't know what's going to happen, so then you don't. So it's a lot easier to actually use that to build tension. It's fun. It's easier. Hello, Maya. Present is kind of yucky, but I can see it working really well for horror. Yeah, a lot of writers. I think a lot of people who write prose have a heart like really don't like present tense. I don't. Obviously, I don't have a problem with it because I write primarily in screenplays, which are exclusively present tense. Um, but I've read a little bit of like Nick Cave's. Um, it makes some of Nick Cave's prose because I know he kind of played with it a little bit, as well as Murakami. I know Murakami has written a few things in present tense that I like it. And you're right, Cryptid. It makes pacing go so fast if you use it right. That is the huge thing. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I used to write nothing but present until I got I got shit on for it. One, I'm gonna argue it depends. It depends who like screw those people because some of I this is the thing that drives me nuts about like there's a weird sort of like it's gatekeepy. It's really strange. It's a really strange thing that people do. Yeah, I was gonna be like, you're just wrong. It's like people have this idea of how it's supposed to be, and I really think it's just them projecting a form of like that they feel like they need to have a note or something. I mean, that's like a studio thing. That's like things you get when you're pitching in a studio. Is like everybody feels like they have to have a note, even if the note makes no sense. You read half of like some of the greatest works of fiction, and they use all kinds of tenses. They use past tense, present tense, like they go all future tense even. I mean, they go all over the place. Um, I don't. Whoever says that, I agree. Yeah, Cryptid. It's like it's a thing, and it's a thing that I know actively. A lot of screenwriters that I work with fight against this sort of like gatekeepery. Like you can't do this, you can't do this. This is like a red flag, and you know, the red flag is that people either get bored or check out of your story. That's your red flag. That is the only red flag. That is the only thing that you need to do to change is how to better communicate your ideas and get people to connect with the story you're telling. So, I don't know. It's like it's almost becoming like a trigger response for me at this point when I see people being like, "I get shit on for it." Yeah, because it's unfair. And actually, I remember this actually happening. I actually remember this happening with you, Maya, with Outsiders, where people got mad at you for the use of italics, or that you were because you were writing like the present the kind of you were layering the thing and like now that can get confusing but that doesn't mean that it's like you can refine that to make it not confusing. It doesn't mean don't do this, get out. It makes me crazy. And I'm pretty sure I told you that, Maya. It was just like the italics are fine, like I completely see what you're doing, like, and it's kind of cool. So yeah, whoever told you that is patently wrong. Don't listen to them. Do your own thing. uh that is the nature of it. Okay, rant over. I'm sorry. I got all wound up. There is no wrong tense. There is only preference. Agreed, Ghostly. Yes. No editor or agent will ever give you shit for present tense. No one cares. Yep. Unless they exclusively ask for things that aren't in that tense. I'm having that problem right now with the Sword and Sorcery. Is the submissions don't want explicitly say they don't. They want things in past tense. They don't want things in present tense. So that's a submission thing though. It was for Outsiders first person present. I could have worked. It could have worked if I had more experience then, but I also didn't. But I also didn't, so it was quite literally shit. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean, that you can get better and more refined. But I remember some of the stuff I was reading from you, Maya. I actually think I have an idea of where you were using your present tense, and I think it could work. Yeah, you just develop those skills about how to use those interesting things to get what you're in your head you're trying to communicate, because what's in your head and you're trying to communicate is interesting. That's your point of view. That's your artistic voice. Those are things that you want to learn to communicate instead of having people be like, well, just you can't do this because it breaks some odd arbitrary rule. Instead, it's like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. Here's how maybe you can refine it. Maybe you can make it a little clearer. But don't just, yeah, this drives me nuts. The internet is poison. Just remember that, everybody. I know we're on the internet and I'm a streamer, but remember that the internet is poison, filled with a bunch of people who have poison ideas. It makes me angry. People need to get off italics. I will rage. Agreed, Ghostly. Agreed. As long as the reader stays in the story, you're exactly that is your job, is to keep them in your story. Welcome back, Opera Soria. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let them live. Exactly. I've been editing for 9 years. The only time I will correct tense if it's not yeah, exactly. It's essentially if you're messing up your tenses, which can also happen. I mean, I do that still. I still use present tense through present thoughts and italics. Yeah, just not as much now. I like it more now that I'm more reserved on it. I agree, Maya. I mean, that's kind of like, okay, you see what you're doing and you like it more reserved like that, then it helps. But yeah, don't throw it out. Don't throw it out at all. You do your thing. It's just about making your thoughts and ideas connect with the readers. That's it. All right, looks like ads have already been run. Let me catch up on chat, and then we're gonna dive into corrupted code. The only time I have suggested POV change was when the story worked better in open rather than closed. Gotcha. Okay, so where you can go through, yeah, to better showcase the world as a whole, and that is one book in countless number of books. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. People who write present tense confidently scare me. That is a superpower I cannot comprehend. It is not superpower, Ghostly. It is practice. That's it. It is just practice. And for me, when I try to write past tense, I stumble a lot because I will default to present tense just because that's literally how I write. Anyone who says you can't do that because I don't like is false and a fool. Yes, they are fools. I cannot, and I applaud those who can. You did just fine with the script, Ghostly. You did well. You were good. Remember, gang, there are many idiots with many wrong opinions. Thank you, Cryptid. I feel like that should be a command. Anytime someone says, "Well, you can't do this" or "This is wrong," just command. There are many idiots with idiot opinions. Or like, yeah, the dude. Well, that's just like your opinion, man. All right, now on the subject, this is my first your first ever third-person story. So be gentle with me, Ella, or frame it, or flame it. I don't know. It's okay. Don't worry, Maya. We'll get there. Yeah, you're just fine. Hard to start, easy to master. There you go, Ghostly. That's good. We can make it one, LOL. I might have like an angry. If you think your opinion is law, you are a fool and a foolish person. All right. We are going to go and start the sprint, and we are going to be off to the races with Maya's first ever third-person story, it sounds like. Excited to read. Sounds like it's just up my alley. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's rough. It can be rough, Maya. I'm probably going to avoid giving you, like, awkward, any of that kind of stuff. Yep. It's not super refined either. This was just to get the story down, for sure. Yep, we'll see. Expect goof-ups. Don't worry about it. Yep, we'll be light on that. I'm going to look more at terms of, like, how we're approaching the story and just structurally how the story's laid out. You can put sound bites in the redeem options, Violet. Not that I should be giving you more ideas. That is, you could do that. If for whatever reason you want my cackling voice saying these things. Just the bites redeem of just me being like, opinion! I don't know. But yeah, it's not a bad idea, Cryptid. Not a bad idea. I need all the ideas. I look to all of you for ideas because I don't know what people... I clearly don't know what people want on Twitch because I didn't think the redemption to read on stream was going to be popular, and it gets used all the time. All right, let's get to this. Here we go, everybody. Corrupted code. Make sure the music's here. Okay. All right. Be back in a few, Cryptid. We'll see you when you get back. Corrupted code. 1. Got it. First in a series of short stories. Got it. The Hydra raised its final head and roared to the heavens before it fell. A human-sized hammer stuck in the dent where the brain would be and hit the cold, hard stone with a splash of blue blood. Finally. Not an injury nor a lost soul, the Raider leader sighed and wiped his glistening forehead. He spun his finger in the rallying motion and shouted, "Knives at the ready!" Knives at the ready. Take as many scales as possible before its body disintegrates. This is your commission. Don't let it dwindle. At the stairwell entrance of the Hydra's lair stood a young woman covered hair to toe in ragged, baggy clothing. She waved her hand, excited, and dropped the bags thrown over her shoulder. "Excuse me," she smiled. "I don't have a knife. I was told not to bring one." "No shit. You don't count." He pointed at her with his own knife. "Just stand there and shut the fuck up and pick the shit back up. We don't want damaged goods." "Oh, okay," she wilted. Man, these guys are dicks. You could do anything, Twilight, include the beloved Nick Cage back in a bit. Got it. Thank you. Enjoy your time in the... Oh, yeah. All right. She wilted. She waited patiently as the raid team picked the oversized lizard clean of its blue-green pearlescent scales. But her patience withered, and she fidgeted, picking at the fingers of her glove, swaying back and forth to the rhythm of the common folk song, looking up at the 50-foot ceiling, wishing she could help, had she been allowed to bring a knife. Says okay. Patience. Okay, so I'm assuming they're singing. So maybe just some added detail about like what's going on here, Maya. I'm assuming she's swaying back to a common. Is she like listening to this in her head, like a common folk song in her head? So far, my only thing here is just I kind of want a little bit more detail. Just detail. That's it. Like on like raiders, like what these raiders, who they are, kind of just a general vibe for who these raiders are. Is like if it's a common folk song, is maybe just establish it's in her head. Yeah, it's in her head. It would be cool if they're singing. Got it. Yeah. I mean, that would be cool too. I wasn't sure if I actually thought the Raiders were like doing like a post battle hymn, and she's just kind of like bored and swaying back and forth there. So maybe just a little bit of detail there to kind of flesh it out, paint a little bit more of a picture for me. Okay. Do. I do kind of like this interesting, like, she's just not allowed to bring a knife. And I mean, they're definitely jerks to her. But I kind of like this sort of, like, I do like this had she been allowed to bring a knife. This repetition of this knife thing. As they ascended, victorious from the deepest depth of the dungeon, chanting with glee, the young woman followed from the back of the crowd with only one other behind her to protect the loot she carried. The satchels that wrapped around her body, clipped to her belt, and hung over her back were so heavy. Each step echoed over the celebration and through the narrow and decrepit halls, vibrating the ground beneath her. Had there been a ramshackle bridge, it would have collapsed. Okay, nice, giving us a kind of scale there. That's good. So like a little bit more like that, Maya. Like had there been a ramshackle bridge, it would have collapsed. I've got a clear picture of just this sort of like caravan coming out of this place. It's a good way to you're doing it very quickly. It's brief, but that's creating a good picture in my head. But there was no bridge to collapse, nor were there any monsters that threatened the loot, because all the monsters had been turned into the loot. Her protection was only to ensure she wouldn't run off. Outside in the clearing of the dungeon entrance, she waited in the near dark with the rest of the raid team as the leader divvied the initial pay. On her HUD, a near empty battery flashed. Okay, so now we're establishing that they have HUDs. Okay. Okay. On her HUD, a near empty battery flashed yellow. Her wrist twisted clockwise and hand violently contorted. A malfunction that recurred for months without explanation. Okay, she has a HUD, no one else. Okay, so. Okay. Alright, let me. Okay. Okay, we might want to explain that a little bit more, Maya. Just a hair more. Let me see where you go with it. Let me let you cook. Let me let you cook a little bit before I come in, because that so this is like a turning point where I'm like, oh, okay, she has a HUD. So I'm like, and now I'm asking, do they have HUDs? But let me keep going, and we'll see if this, we might come back to this. On her HUD, a near empty battery flashed yellow. Her wrist twisted clockwise, and hand violently contorted. A malfunction that recurred for months without explanation. Okay, so we've got... okay, so now we're kind of starting to build the fact that she's like an android of some type. Sparse eyes with the crowd glared at her. Some turned their backs while others blatantly scowled. She hung her head over... she hung her head to avoid confrontation, lest it be taken as an insult. Why the hell was that thing even here to begin with? We didn't need it carrying our stuff, hiding in the back with support. One man spat from outside her vision. Her audio peripherals drowned the other chatter around, and she cherry-picked his words of disgust. Okay, cool. Awesome. So now we're starting to establish, okay, all right, she's an android. Got it. Okay. Yep. Okay, cool. She's a backup. The Lowen guy dropped out last minute. We needed to hit that. We needed to hit that member minimum, or else this would have been an illegal raid. She? Couldn't we have gotten an actual person? I'd probably just do her there instead of she. Not at her rank. She's cheaper than the dirt we're standing on. Couldn't even rent a cadaver for what she asked. What? Cadaver? Don't tell me you've used one of those before. The first laughed. That's fucking disgusting. That's funny. That's a good line. She grimaced beneath her hood. Okay, yep. Being likened to dirt, likened to a pleasure corpse. That type of activity wasn't her prerogative anymore. Okay, alright. We got some dark... kind of like... Yep, got some dark sort of android pleasure bots, pleasure models, combat models, burden models. Heavy thudding footsteps approached her, and the pleasure corpse. Good old pleasure corpse. It's a dark joke there, Maya. I mean, it's good, but dark joke for sure. Heavy thudding footsteps approached her, and a man, clad in gold, I assume. A man clad in gold ornamented metal armor towered over her. His hand extended. He dropped 3 hexagonal coins to the ground. Your pay. You can leave now. Thank you, sir, the girl murmured. She picked the coins from the dirt like scum scrounging for a meal and scurried away like a rat caught in the light. Okay, so the only note I have thus far is she's clearly very excitable. So you're trying to make her character very kind of like, oh, can I help? Like the way we start here. Sarah, she waved her hand excited and dropped the bag stone. Okay, all right. So you're adding kind of that personality, and now she's just kind of getting beat down. The only thing I would say here is maybe I feel like I want to see a little bit more of her before. Maybe a little bit more of her excitability coming out, even though she's like carrying things out of there. I mean, maybe give her something more, like something that maybe like an excitable trait that she keeps to herself, maybe something to just kind of like really lean in and give her a characterization before. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just a little bit more. You've got the excitability opening, but yeah, something like when they're lugging everything out, something. Just give her something, and I think it might be interesting to give her something to keep to herself. You know, that she knows that she kind of always keeps getting beaten down anytime she shows any sense of personality. So maybe something she kind of keeps to herself that she can transition that excitable energy into. Yeah, exactly, Maya. Yeah, establish more of her personality before. Okay. Okay. Filth. The man shook his head. Night sunk in as she traversed over the uneven terrain of the woods back to the Anmora, the town she lived in. The dungeon popped up a mere 3 miles away. Oh, traipsed. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Traipsed. I was like traversed. Okay, sorry. Her Her consciousness faded in and out. Let's see here. Back to the Amora, the town she lived in. The dungeon popped up a mere 3 miles away. Her consciousness faded in and out with every other stride of the leg. She crashed into trees and tumbled over rocks and fallen logs and flinched at the distant growls of monsters. Not that she couldn't have defended herself normally. Worry doubled her energy consumption, and she lacked a weapon to boot. Okay. But past the guard towers, the lights of safety that surrounded the town enveloped her once more, and one of her worries faded into the darkness behind her. Next, she worried if she would make it. Okay, is this like, okay, yeah, so that you're building off of the battery thing, right? Like the that she's like she's running out of power. Is that why she's okay, yeah, she's like shutting down. She's like mid shutdown. We might want to clarify. You might want to kind of clarify maybe like what does it feel like for her to be in low power instead of just how she's acting. Maybe kind of like what's kind of give me a little bit more of the physical internal sense of what she's feeling as she's like shutting down. So yeah, it's a good image that she's like hitting rocks and logs and things like that, but like maybe because it kind of throws me. I'm like, okay, why is she not really working super well? Oh, right, because the battery thing. Maybe like if you get me more kind of in how she's feeling about it, like that she's draining. Maybe even start it from like her point of view. So you start start this sort of like the night sunk with the worry doubled her energy consumption, but worry doubled her energy consumption, but she was unsure if she was gonna make it. And then she's like hitting things. Like give me something like an intro bit to kind of go into the scene with a little bit. Just because it's a little less like because sometimes I kind of get a little bit of like whiplash coming out of it. I'm like, wait, okay, right, that's why that's happening. It's just a little less smooth. So sometimes keeping it in her how it feels, her emotional state can kind of help balance kind of as the scene is going from scene to scene to scene. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Amor shined as the annual Weeping Moon Festival raged on. Okay, cool. Traveling magicians performed measly tricks to entertain passing kids. Sweet and savory scents floated through the air as food grilled. Bands from to and fro played mediocre music that overlapped. Beautifully and scantily clad women drew near weary men into alleys, and the gold string lights above were on full blast as the town spared no fuel to power them. Okay, cool. So I mean, cleaning it up a little bit, but you're painting a really good picture of the town that she's coming into. Unfortunately, she didn't have time to bask in the festival's glory, even though it would have been her first, and instead cut down a dark and secluded byway up to a shuttered window booth. Behind it stood a gangly man, ill-tinted by stark white light, with a rash that sprawled across his face. A cigarette lazily hung from his mouth. "Got the money?" he asked, his voice wheezy and hoarse. She nodded and dropped 2 silver coins in an open slot. They were minted with religious text and the face of the current archbishop. Okay, cool. So yeah, like this might just be a little bit more like detail. It's just detail. It's like world building detail. I just like the face of the current archbishop is good, but instead of saying religious text, like just describe it a little bit more. But other than that, like that works. He snorted, sick with summertime flu. "You got another night. Consider yourself lucky." She nodded again, "Thank you," and slithered away. Okay. Black grunge grew on the walls of the hall she strolled down. Underneath that, graffiti. What did she buy? Let's see. Wheezy Horse. She dropped 2 silver coins. They were minted with. Okay. He's sort of sick with summertime flu. "You've got another night. Consider yourself lucky." Okay. So we don't know what she bought yet. Got it. I do like this. He snorted, "Stick with summertime flu." It's a good. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so you might want to. I mean, if it becomes obvious, it becomes obvious later. But yeah, just you might want to clarify what she's paying for. I do like this. He snorted sick with summertime flu. That captured, like, I know exactly what that feels like and looks like and sounds like. That's a good, like, texture detail. Like, that gives me a lot for my imagination to work with. Um, Black grunge grew on the walls as she strolled down. Underneath that, graffiti of street gangs. Under that, graffiti of street gangs lost to the past. Okay, okay, all right, gotcha. Beneath her boots rang a sopping squelch from the waterlogged carpet that hadn't been changed in at least a decade. Despite such horrid conditions, she was grateful every time she opened the door to her humble dwelling, scrap piled, mold covered, overrun with plant life, and littered with rubble. You're late, a robotic voice said. She nearly jumped out of her skin and slammed into the wall. The voice continued, and your night vision is out. Why did you do this to yourself, Salem? Her legs buckled, the battery symbol depleted, and advanced to a bright red, and she crawled to the faint, glowing machine in the corner, next to the dead rats. Because her voice modulated and fell mute as she ripped off her charge cover. What humans called a belly button. Because from the machine she pulled a long cord and plugged it in. Because I want to. Because I want to. To be part of the humans' lives is a privilege for one such as myself. Through their hate, though it rubs my code wrong, I'm content to be by their side in a capacity that I am. It doesn't make sense. Maybe not to you, but I want to understand them. I don't know why. I haven't found an answer yet, but I believe. Yeah, okay. She plugged it in. But I believe if I continue to live alongside the humans, I can learn why. Speaking of, the voice sighed, ready to continue your optimization? You're already plugged in, and we've made good progress. Currently, your CPU sits at 40%. 40% usage on idle. Your memory is leaking, but might be faulty RAM, and there seems to be more corrupted functions in need of repair, lest they corrupt more. If we make your code more efficient and rewrite the corruption, your body will use less resources. Interesting. But I don't like the way it feels. I've lived fine with my problems so far. Is it necessary? Yes. Times are tough. You want to live as human. You want to live as the humans, as the humans you so treasure. Why not help yourself? There's a point where stubbornness becomes masochism. Another time. Are we doing this? Salem closed her eyes. I suppose. Finally, we don't have much time left before you leave, so let's get as much done as possible. And don't expect a full charge when you wake. This is going to put some stress on your system. Okay. Interesting. Okay, Maya. So, I do really so far the biggest thing is, like, aside from notes already pointed out, you notice the typo. Oh yeah, don't worry. I figured it's rough. Don't worry about it. I'm kind of glossing over, like, some of the awkward sentences and I'm trying to kind of focus more on what you're going for. I figure, you can polish it as you go. What I really like here is at the end. You keep the dialogue nice and brief, but I do really like this sense of optimization and rewriting your code to use less resources to be more efficient in a system that hates you. There's a really good allegory you're kind of building here, a really good kind of comparison, both that this character is feeling like they're losing themselves, and that it gives you a lot to work with, like the fact that the problems that they have so far, that they're actually having to become more, like, less human by trying to be with humans and understand them. They're inherently becoming less human by trying to eradicate their problems and optimize themselves, which is a very non-human thing, even though we try to our own. I don't know, you're building a very interesting kind of, like, question here. So that's the way that this ends. Solid, very good. When he mentions masochism, she's supposed to ask, what's masochism? And that's what he replies another time. Oh, gotcha. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay. I see what you're saying there. Okay. Cool. Bum, bum, bum. But I do like what you're setting up here at the end, Maya. All right, let's go on to section 2. All right. Overcast blanketed the sky, an antithesis to Salem's mood. She pranced down the streets of Anmora. Okay, got it. Okay, I see what you're doing. You're tying some of her mood stuff to her battery power, which makes sense. Okay. She pranced down the streets of Anmora, which were amid celebratory cleanup. As an unusual excitement ran amok inside her, more so than when she arrived at the Chop Shop garage. Nice. That took a lot of brain work to make sure some of the themes came through properly. Yeah, well, sometimes that's how themes work, as they take brain work. But you're doing a good job setting it up. You are setting up a very good, very troublesome question, which is always good to have. You want a troublesome question because that's what kind of gets in and starts to eat away at you, that allows you to explore it. So you do a really good job there. That's really good. Okay. Hello, Mr. Malamo, Salem called. I'm here with the last of my payment. I wish not to waste your time, so if you are here, please make yourself known. Malamo, a middle-aged man with hair cut close to his head, stood from a junk-piled corner of his messy garage. Said junk fell and clanged on the concrete as he waded toward her. I fucking heard you, he coughed, his voice as gravelly as a query. Don't you think I was busy with shit? Concentrating on something? Concentrating on something? Idiot droid. If you're performing a complex task, I would assume it does not require alcohol. She pointed to the empty bottle of Bensworth whiskey clutched in his hand. And I assume you could wash your clothes once in a while, wearing something that doesn't stink. But I have no more clothes, nor do I have a way to wash them. Malamo looked away. I'm sorry. I assume you... Sorry, I got my characters mixed up. But I have no more clothes, nor do I have a way to wash them. Malamo looked away. Give me the money. Satisfied with her hard work, Salem placed the last silver coin to her name in the man's sweaty palm. Do you not think it is petty to have me wait until I've paid such a small sum before you install my new power source? He yanked his hand away and gleamed at her. Do you think it's fucking rude to ask me that shit? Who do you think you are, my granddaughter? She waved her hands frantically. I did not mean to be rude. Talos said that I should say that because you were being a stingy old man. That's a good line. You know what? Malamo took a deep breath but sighed and shook his head. Tell Talos to go fuck himself. From me. I will do that. Anyway, once I install this, you'll be free. I can tell you're trying to I feel like this is the way that when people are being hyperbolic, the way they talk to Siri. They're just being mean to Siri for no reason. Anyway, once I install this, you'll be free to leave Anmora. Won't have to worry about power for months. I needed some extra time before that. For what? From his pocket he produced 2 small black chips. For this to come in. Newish RAM. You have a memory leak. Won't be able to think too hard before you run out. Should make learning smoother as well. Salem's dandelion eyes glowed and flickered with newfound excitement. Is that for me? Obviously. What have I done to deserve such an amazing gesture? I really, Ghost, I really enjoy the tones your characters have, Maya. Yeah, you definitely get the voice down, Maya. Particularly the gruff, angry old. It's good, and of course your main character's voice. That's the one thing about that you have, Maya, is you do have strong characters. Actually, both you and Ghostly, it's both of your strengths. You are very, very strong with character. Obviously, what have I done to deserve such an amazing gesture? Here's a tip: don't question a gift to the face of one who's giving it to you. It's pretty fucking rude. Oh, Salem hung her head. Stop that! What are you, a child? It's because you always paid me. Too many customers bailed out on me. I know I held it over your head, but you never complained. It means more than you think. You'll learn that one day. I do really like your unlikable but likable characters. The characters that are just gruff, angry, they're jerks, but they're also there's a heart of gold and an ethic, a moral there that they clearly adhere to. It's strong character work. Well, she smiled. Thank you. Malamo nodded. You know, that actually sounded human. Could have fooled me for a moment. Can we install it now? He rolled his eyes. Oh, that's funny. Sure. Take off your clothes and lay face on the table. Don't take that the wrong way either. You have said that every time. What do you mean? Doesn't matter. Salem undressed without a shred of hesitation, revealing a body identical to a young human woman with fair, supple skin, and shoulder-length beige hair with bangs. She climbed onto and laid out on the angled examination table designed for android use. Malamo pressed a wide and rounded dimple-tipped pen against Salem's synthetic skin, and a yellow light undid the weaving when it touched. He removed a large rectangle with the synthetic muscle still attached to access the torso internals hatch. Nice. Does that hurt? He asked. It does not. Hello, princess. Shh. I know. Hello. I know. Interesting. Must be the way the pen works. Looking through here, you haven't hardly a bit of your original self. How has that affected you? It has not affected me. I cannot feel the difference. Only one of my monitors stops flashing red when it's fixed. How many are flashing? At one time, 17. Now, 1. I've only replaced 8 of your parts. What are the other 9 for? Software malfunctions? Errors in my script? But but now I am all better. Or I will be after this. I wouldn't say that, Malamo sighed. You still have plenty wrong, like your audio receivers. If you only have one red light, that means the hearing aids you wear are acting in their place. Maybe so. When the garage fell silent, and all that could be heard was the ambient noise of town life from outside, Salem glanced around, careful not to move and hinder Malamo's process. You're very good with character, Maya, and in the Ghostly opinion, this is the most important pillar in storytelling. Agreed. Agreed, Ghostly. Is there something wrong? She asked. Your accent. It sounds old world Slavic. Oh, interesting. Nice. Even when you're more robotic like today, it comes through strong. I've been meaning to ask and never got around to doing it. What did you do before adventuring? I was a pleasure doll, I think. I do not have memories, but I have the required mating components for humans. Yeah, I've noticed. He grimaced, do you want them removed? I can't imagine they're doing any good, not to mention you'd be safer. Safer in what way? Asked Talos. So? Is there not a reason? No, I do not believe I need to. Alright, with that I guess I'm done. Already? Yep. He switched modes on the pen and re-wove the skin seamlessly back into place with the blue light. Salem promptly clothed herself. Feel any different? He asked. No, she smiled. Thank you. Less human sounding this time, but I can tell it was genuine. That's nice. That's a cute moment. That's a really cute moment right there, Maya. I like that a lot. A story is nothing without this poor baby bean. I know. Yeah, it's a very, very cute moment right here, Valerie. Maya. You don't waste time, do you? She needs all the protection from the world, as is often with the case with the abused androids of the world, of the science fiction world. You don't waste time, do you? It's from the same branch as the gastric pouch and water camel I installed. If you eat, it'll break down the nutrients and give you energy. If you run out of food to recoup those used energy, the camel will act as a hydrogen battery as a last resort. Expect to overheat at that point. I think that's like a hybrid. She's a hybrid android. If I were to sustain my power, raise its pit, I will defend the baby. Yes, you will defend Salem, heart and soul. If I were to sustain my power via eating, how long could I go between before I run out of power? I told you, months. That's a good power source. Very efficient. What about my new RAM? It's RAM. No more, no less. It's just not fucked up. I see. Thank you. I will be off now. LOL, I thought her name a bit clever. Yeah, I see what you're doing there. Oh, no, I see it. Maybe a tat on the nose. I don't think so. I think you can get away with it, Maya. I don't think it's too close. I mean, well, it is. You're making a direct parable. I think it has more to do with the subjugation of women and maybe like kind of like the witch. I mean, she's a robot. She's gonna have powers that humans don't, but also the subjugation of a female character that's kind of treated like crap. I don't know. Reading some vibes here. Um, do. Could also lean into hysteria too, depending on where you go with the story. Yes. I see. Thank you. I will be off now. Yep. He waved her off. As she was about out of hearing distance, Malamo called Salem. She peeked her head back and opened the garage door. Yes. If you continue to upgrade yourself, you'll eventually be like a completely different android in body. Just keep that shit in your head original, all right? You've got more personality than most people, and it'd be a shame to let it go. Oh, I like this. I like this, Maya. I will, or won't. I believe you know what I'm trying to say. He nodded. Goodbye, she said and left. Malamo wiped his glasses and sighed. Just like my granddaughter. Just as dense. Nice. Very cute. Very cute. Already loving the relationship. The character relationships are great, Maya. Same thing with your Outsiders story. Same thing. You really know how to make endearing characters. You really do. You've got a knack for it. You got a knack for it. All right. Section 3. I have returned. Salem shouted from down the hall, still on her new part high. And I am better than ever. She found the door to her dilapidated room open. The gangly man stood inside, his face crossed. Hello, Mr. Is there something wrong? Ghostly, she is not a witch robot, just a normal android who will slowly upgrade herself in various ways. Yep. Clap. You write good people, Maya. Yeah, exactly. I applaud. Yeah, exactly. Not a witch, noted. Yeah, no. But there you can draw a witch allegory a little bit too, superpower android type thing. All right. Where was I? Okay. Yes, bad things are happening, I'm sure. Hello, Mr. Is there something wrong? He crossed his arms. Yeah, there is. You didn't pay for last night's stay. Lucky I didn't kick you out before closing. But that is wrong. I paid 2 silver coins when Are you calling me a fucking liar? I log all my customer payments, and yours isn't there. Then, when I come to find you've been installed with new tech that I didn't approve, he pointed to the faint glowing machine in the corner. How did you even get that thing in here? Welcome back, Cryptid. We are on section 3 of an android living in poverty, trying to get upgrades to be able to live and assimilate to a degree with the humans, who tend to be very, very shitty to the androids. Not a witch. The line my neighbors would never believe. Exactly, Cryptid. Exactly. All right. But yes, following the adventures of young android Salem here, it seems like things are about to go poorly, unfortunately. How did you even get that thing in here? Sci-fi fantasy, homie. You got magic, knights, androids, generators, and pleasure corpse. Right. Got a necromancer's favorite. All right, there we go. 3 more silver for breaking the rules. And we just finished a very, very cute, delightful scene between the upgrade doc and Salem. Definitely playing into Maya's strengths for writing delightful characters. Okay. Actually, it doesn't matter. That's 3 more silver for breaking the rules. I was not aware of the rule against technology installation without prior approval. I stated all the rules when you started renting from me, and you signed, confirming you understood. It's not my problem. It's not my problem you don't know about them. Oh, rad, I like it. Reminds me of the Marissa Mayer series, but a little darker. Hell yeah, all the best things. Exactly. I am sorry for my ignorance. I ask that you forgive me. He sighed. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to do my best Star Trek Next Generation's impression. He sighed. Whatever. Just come to the front and pay what you owe. As he passed her by, she said, I am sorry again, but I do not have enough to pay. Your increase to 2 silver a night is untenable. What? You know that's theft, right? Oh, that's good. That's good. Ugh, making my commie blood boil. Oh, that's theft. Is that right, landlord? You know that's theft, right? I could have you arrested. Please do not do that. Her eyes widened. Is there not another way that I can pay? Perhaps there is something that you need assistance with. I don't allow pay through work. But the man's eyes wandered. Although he lifted Salem's back shirt, taking note of her chest, and undid her belt to look into her pants. She latched onto his wrists, but couldn't bring herself to make him stop. How could she? He was a human. Oh no, yeah. Are we not good. You're a pleasure doll, he said. Who'd have thought? And he opened her mouth, looking down her throat, feeling the inside of her cheeks. Oh, gross. Usually you're kind as an owner. Doesn't matter. You know what? You can help me. As he let her go, Salem tilted her head like a dog. What do you mean? While she wasn't the most intelligent android, nor did she possess Talos' worldly knowledge, she understood where the greaseball man's mind was headed. She felt his sickening intention, something akin to learning instinct required from her shrouded past. Pitchfork, Ghostly. Yeah, be careful. Ghostly will, if bad things happen to characters Ghostly likes, Ghostly, and that is why this is an 18+ stream, folks. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, Ghostly will rage. If there is actual SA past this, I'm probably gonna skip it over, Maya. I'm just gonna let you know that. I am sorry again, but I do not perform those actions. If you require help with a job pertaining to monsters. But if you require help with a job pertaining to monsters, shut up. You owe me, and I demand some form of compensation. You have your choices. I don't even know why I'm giving you a choice. I don't shy away from fucked up topics, but there's not. Okay, good. It's mostly just a stream thing. As well as, you never know. I don't want to, the sensitive topics. Salem froze in place. Her eyes flickered as she weighed her options, staring up at the man whose sickly appearance could be likened to a toad with syphilis. Which was the lesser evil? To be thrown in jail, assaulted in various and cruel ways, then beaten to death once the appeal wore off, or to accept the man's offer and willingly allow him to use her body the way she didn't want? Ghostly fire? Fire? There was a word for the latter. Multiple, in fact, but none of them came to her mind in the moment. I cannot comply with your request. I ask again that you forgive me. She bowed her head. And allow me time to... While her head was lowered, the man grabbed the back of her neck and pushed her down on all fours. Not gonna happen, he grinned, as he used his free hand to fumble his belt buckle open. Oh boy. Fire, death, murder. Salem slipped back and out from under his grip, and the man tumbled forward to the ground. Back on her feet again, she said, if you would allow me only a day's time, I am positive I can legally earn the money you require. Ghostly. Run. She inched closer to the open door as the man clambered up the silent Talos. You stupid bitch, you broke my arm. Ah! Oh, good. Sharpened rusted metal sunk into his palm as he tried to stabilize himself by holding on the nearby scrap pile with a supposed broken arm. Ghostly. I love stab it, suck it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, it deserves pretty much at this point deserves to be burned alive. But she took 2 steps toward her escape, bowing excessively. I am so sorry. I did not mean to harm you. If you would allow me... Moon runes, oh my god, this got me engaged. I put down my controller. Eat that egg. She took 2 steps towards her escape, bowing excessively. That is... Okay, this is really funny. The image of bowing excessively. I am so sorry. I did not mean to harm you. If you would allow me to acquire funds, I will gladly pay your medical costs. Hey! It finally happened. It finally happened. Alright, where are you? Where are you? Hold on. Boop. And with that, we will pause here. How do I ban you? How do I ban you? Let me do it. Let me do it. Let me do it. I'm very slow. Hold on. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope. Boop, boop, boo. Don't ban. No, no, not you. Not you. Not you. Not you. Where's the damn thing? Why is it not popping up for me? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Opera Soria. I don't know why that didn't pop up. Don't my stupid quick button to ban did not pop up. Yeah, no. Do not click the followers link, everybody. All right, let me start the down timer here. That took too long. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. Break off his arm and shove it down his throat. No, you sweet baby angel. Yeah, be careful. Yeah, Ghostly will. Thank you. Beat me to it. My laptop just lagged. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I was waiting to see when this would happen because I know both Liz and the kids are asleep, and like a bunch of other people on Right or Twitch are getting a ton of these. So far, knock on wood, we haven't had a ton of them, but that was the first of the stream this evening. Oh boy. Well, Maya, you definitely know how to elicit the reactions. You've got Ghostly ready to burn down the whole. You got Ghostly ready to burn down the whole world for this. So with that, I applaud you. You've made us really like your characters. So putting them in the literally one of the worst possible situations anybody could be in, you are definitely doing well there. At least eliciting the reaction you want, I'm assuming. Ding. Why doesn't Twitch fix the bottom problem? Oh, the bot problem? Yeah, I don't know why. I'll set up a bot to try to mitigate that. Thank you, Opera Soria. Yeah, this stream has been really, like, at least knock on wood, this channel has been really luckily. It wasn't shock value, was it? I try not to use pure shock value for stuff like that. No, it's not shock value. You're not. I can tell you're not doing it to be shocking. It is tropey. It definitely is a trope. You encounter a lot. Kind of, the threat of SA to the underclass is a common thing that you see, particularly in science fiction, and you see it a lot in like cyberpunk science fiction. Whether or not you want to utilize it, I'd say if you do use it, try to do something interesting with it, because it is the rule that I almost always run into is depending on what bear I'm gonna be poking, if it's a bear, yeah, and that's the other thing too, Maya. It's common in real life too. Yeah, that's the problem. But that's also something you want to be careful of too, is if you're gonna poke a certain type of bear, because as it is common in real life, you have to then think, okay, so a certain number of people who are reading it, this is probably going to hit differently than someone who hasn't experienced that. So if you're going to poke that bear, make sure you're doing it for a very explicit reason. Like, and not even just respectfully, like, you need to have good cause to do it. This is all just my opinion. But there are certain things when it comes to, there are certain elements and some things do it well. Like, I'm a fan of Berserk, and there's a ton of it in Berserk. But I think that the way it's handled in Berserk is unique. So it's kind of, yeah, it's a little. The only thing I'd say is just be aware that it is in fact a trope, and this is a thing that you might get. You will get people that will not follow you to where you have her running away and the guy getting the comeuppance. They will just stop. So you will lose people on that. That's the only thing I'm gonna say about, like, that's the only thing I'd be cautious of. So if you're fine with that, and you think what you're trying to say with it or do with it is worth it or justified, like, thematically, it leans into what you're trying to get across, then I would do it. But that's like my only big note is, like, if you are gonna elicit those types of things, you should have a very good reason for doing so. Ghostly, you scared me for a minute there. Will not lie. Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's the reaction. That is the reaction going for. Cryptid salutes. Oh, sorry. This is an aside I just wanted to share with the world that no matter what stage in writing you're at, you are better than Ghostly was. I put in general. What did you put in general? Um, do do do. Oh my goodness. What did you put in general? Oh, Discord. Like I was like, you're a fantastic. Everyone here is a fantastic. Oh, you put okay. You put Crime Punchers. Got it. I see what you did. You are a delightful writer. Do not put yourself down. Nobody here should be putting themselves down. You are all talented, beautiful writers. I've read almost everybody's work here at least once, or at least a sample of their work. You are all talented writers. Um, Ghostly is a sensitive individual. You had me scared. I might need to mute stream. But I liked how you pulled it off. All personal impressions. Yeah, and that's a thing too. Yep, exactly. That is a thing that you need to be aware of. Do do do. Any big actions like this will most definitely have a meaning, even if it's because it's a topic. Even if it's because it's a topic I want to explore in my own way. For sure. Yep. Yeah, and that is your purview as when you're writing it. You just want to be aware that kind of depending on how you're approaching it. Um, just be aware that like depending on how you do it and from what angle you do it, you're gonna start you will start to kind of divide people on how they react to it. Specifically, people who've experienced things like this in their like in real life. They might react to this in a very they may not, no matter what you're trying to say with it, they might not react in a way that's gonna like that you're not going to be able to communicate whatever you're trying to communicate to them. That's the only thing you want to be aware of, or at least wary of, depending on how you approach it. Um, yeah, no, Maya, you definitely don't do that. Don't worry about that. Yeah, you're definitely not doing it from that angle. It doesn't read that way at all. I will never gratify any of it, but I won't shy away from how dark it truly is. Yeah, you can do that. You just want to. I like visceral writing for sure. Yep, and that can work too for sure. Yep. I am not. I want to show people the beauty and growth. Okay, I see what you're doing, Ghostly. Well done. I'm excited to read it. I'm very excited to read Crime Clowns, the Crime Clown story. Um, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of visceral writing. I read a lot of dark stuff. I just be wary. I write a lot of dark stuff. I mean, if you've read my folk horror film, there's a lot of dark stuff in that, like real dark, a lot darker than what you've got written here, Maya. And yes, yeah, it does not read in a way that you gratify it or put it in like a positive light. Clearly, so yeah, I don't want you to think that you're doing that. It's just be wary of kind of, you want to be wary of the audience you're going for. So like something like this, you don't want to do with like even like I'd say a younger audience. Like in younger audience, I mean like like 18 to 20. You might want to be careful, um, depending on how like I whatever they consider young adult fiction. Cryptid would actually probably have a better idea than I would on that. But I feel like you probably want to be careful with that. But if you're writing for like straight adults, like dark, like older people who can handle or can are, you know, that can expect this kind of content in the story you're writing, then then they're kind of like yeah, straight adult. Yeah, that's what I figured you were going for straight adult. Yeah. Visceral writing is fine. Just be aware. If you do get people who get turned off by that, they might do it. Um, all right, what do we got here? Ads are running. Straight adult. Oh, I see what you did there, Ghostly. That was funny. That was a good one. Um, Let's see. I am not. I'll never gratify. Blah blah. Okay, Cryptid. Eyes 18K points. Nudges witch punks your way. Maybe next Friday. I am all ready for witch punks. I am all ready for that. Very excited. Very excited to read Witch Punks. That was where I was 4 years ago, Wildlight. I say this as an, if I can do this, anyone can. I gotcha. You are doing, yeah, yes. I think everybody can be a writer and everyone can be a creative artist person. But yes, yeah, they're you are all wonderfully talented. So don't sweat it too much. Ba, ba, ba. All right, where we go? All right, we're almost done, so we will pick this back up. I have a feeling. This is ending now, so hopefully, I don't think it gets much worse. Next thing I send for this, I'll show you my original shitty writing, which was what Outsiders was originally meant to be. My God, it's bad. Well, that's if I shared in the Discord all my original writing, I'm sure everybody it'd pretty much be unreadable. So don't worry about it too much. Let's see here. It sounds backwards that I ask you don't actually read the screenshots. I fear you may. I fear you may have an aneurysm. The screenshots? What screenshots? Oh. Wait. What? What's happening? Oh, in general. Gotcha. Oh, I see what you did. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at the clowns thing. I didn't see this. Gotcha. Okay. I am. Okay, I am. I'll look those. Don't actually read the screenshots. I fear you may have an aneurysm. But that's fine. Yeah, that's brave of you. You are brave. You're very brave, Ghostly. Would you rather opening chapter or experimental POV in the middle-ish? I'm up for whatever, Cryptid. I'm up for whatever. I did it. Ghostly shared the awful ugly baby in general. Look at it, so bad. The block, the red block. Is that the Bajan waffle? The Belgian waffle? I mean, that's just a funny misspelling, but I wouldn't worry about that. Oh, I see. Oh yeah, you were writing it like a script. Yeah, I see what you're doing. The camera turned. Yeah. I used to write like that. Exponential POV opening chapter. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm up for it. Yeah, experimental POV chapter in the middle. I mean, experimental is fine, but if you wanted me to just get the vibes, I'm down for the opening chapter too. So, bet Wildlight. Let's see here. Bet Wildlight. I'll roll the dice for it. There you go. That's a smart way to do it. All right. Let's dive back into this. We're going to start. This will be the last sprint of the night. We'll see how far we can get on this. Hopefully, I think we might be able to finish it. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll probably be able to get through it on this next sprint. I'm getting it tattooed on me. Bajan waffle, red lines, and everything. Ghostly, that's a solid tattoo. If I had an embarrassing thing to be that proud of, I would absolutely get it tattooed on my body. I tried to add the experimental POV down so I can mostly stand alone, but sprint time. Yes. All right, everybody. Let's get back to it. All right. All right. Timer is going. And for everybody out there writing, I hope it is a productive sprint, and we will see you on the other side. All right. Salem slipped back. Yep, now we got this. Okay. She took 2 steps towards her escape, bowing excessively. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to harm you. If you would allow me to acquire funds, I would gladly pay for your medical costs. I already need to sleep so that I'm a person tomorrow. This is good, Maya. Be proud. Love you all. Have a great night, Ghostly. Take care. Love y'all. Get some sleep. All right. Back to it. Wait, where was I? Okay, there we go. Okay, yes. I will gladly pay for your medical costs. But that was a lie. Her first ever. Interesting. Very cool. Okay. I like that that's her first lie. I dig that. That's cool. She felt an exhilarating rush pass over her as she bolted down the hallway. Then she stopped on a dime, paused for a moment, and hurried back to her former room. I am still very sorry, but before I skip town for my safety, I must retrieve my sword. Funny line. She bowed again. Sword? He watched as Salem fled the room once more, but this time with a large and long sword, taller than her. Blunt edge slung over her back. Get well soon. Goodbye. Out of the ratty complex in the alley, A complex in the alley, down the open dirt streets, past the lazy and contemptible guards, and into the vibrant and bustling marketplace. Salem kept her head covered as she tried to blend into the crowds and sneak out of the town. That's when someone snatched her by the arm. "The hell are you doing here already?" Malamo sighed. It hasn't even been an hour. I understand you want to try out your new feature, but you don't need to. But you don't need to eat yet. Save your damn money. Wide-eyed, she stared at him. She stared at him as tingles shambled down her nerves. He let her go. What? It is. She took a deep breath. It is nothing, and smiled. Doesn't seem like nothing. Why are you so damn nervous? I'm not telling you that you can't eat. I'm just saying it isn't worth doing yet. Give it a few days, idiot droid. I am just. Malamo eyed the sword. What's with that? Got a job already? Then a tall woman in leather armor, accented with metal and a bright yellow shoulder cape, yelled over the morning crowd. Attention! A droid has brutally attacked a human and is currently at large. It looks female, stands about 5'2", has short beige hair, and carries an oversized sword. If you see said android, do not approach and report it to your nearest conical knight. Malamo stared at the quivering android, flabbergasted. You can't help but get yourself into fucking trouble. Who'd you attack? Why? From behind the stand he waited at, a woman approached with a wrapped bouquet of blue and purple flowers. On the house. Take good care of her. It's been too long. Actually, wait, hold on. From behind the stand he waited at, let's see. A woman approached with a wrapped bouquet of blue and purple flowers. On the house, take good care of her. It's been too long. Okay. You might want to... Is this just a random woman walking up and giving them flowers? But she acts like she knows. I might need a little bit more context for this section, Maya. I'm just a little confused by this. Actually, he put his conversation with Salem on hold, turned to the woman. I will, thank you. Then he returned to Salem. Follow me. I don't think this is the best place for your kind to talk right now. Oh, okay. Oh, I gotcha. It's another android. Okay. Yeah, you might want to... Okay, you might want to put that up front, maybe? Or find a way to tag them, maybe? But other than that, I see what you're doing there. What do you mean by that? Just shut the fuck up. Okay. Salem wilted. Okay, Salem wilted. Malamo groaned. He ordered flowers from the woman and she told him it's on the house, not another android. Oh, a florist. I gotcha. Okay. So, yeah. Gotcha. You might want to paint that a little bit more visually so I can track it. Because she kind of comes out of nowhere at that point. Or at least I didn't register. Yeah, I have no context for what Malamo's even doing out there. I get that he's in the marketplace, but, like, you might want to establish that he's, like, in line at the florist or something. Because it just, that whole scene kind of throws me a little bit. They traipsed through the still noisy yet tense crowd as inconspicuous as an elephant. The blade of her sword gleamed in the sun and blinded several passerby. And the ivory-wrapped handle stuck above her head, which was fortunately covered by the hood. Passing a patrol of guards near the western exit of the market, Salem smiled as she stared a man in the face. He was too busy blushing to notice the sword, nor the piece of her beige hair that hung down. Malamo flicked her nose when they were out of sight. Idiot! What the fuck was that? Well, Talos told me that if I smile, it will swoon the hearts of most men. That is why I'm in trouble now, because I unintentionally stole the heart of the man who I pay for a living area, who wanted more of me, and I had to decline. Then he got mad, and I ran. Okay, very nice, good. Painting kind of their understanding of it, all right? Rent? You mean, was he tall, balding, with a shitty comb over to hide it, wears a goatee, and has almost green skin? Yes! That is the man whose heart I have stolen. Do you think he will be all right? Hopefully not. That's Emeran. I never liked him. Now I have a concrete reason not to. Malamo led Salem up the shallow grassy hill with a large willow tree and bloom drooping over it. Underneath, shaded by the tree, were graves overgrown with moths and weeds. "Why are we here?" she asked. "You got me thinking about something. So I'm visiting my granddaughter." He crouched down in front of a small headstone and gently wiped the green from it. Salem looked around. "Is she here? I do not see her. She's always here. Anyway, what are you going to do? Obviously, you can't stay at Amora anymore. I have a new task, one that Talos has given me, that he cannot do on his own. So I must leave to do that, or else he won't be very happy with me." "So you're running petty errands for it now?" he scoffed. "Where is that bastard? I'm gonna kick its ass." "Please do not do that. He must save his energy, and hurting him would not be well. I am lucky that he shares with me. But soon he will be sleeping, and cannot be disturbed. He will be waiting for me to come and wake him up." "Sleeping? Dead? Or sleeping? You mean dead?" Malamo glanced at Salem out of the corner of his glasses. "You know, the dead doesn't come back. At least not for humans. Look at where we are." "I can see, and I am sorry for what I have said earlier. I understand now why we are here. But Talos will not die. He will be waiting, and as I told you, I must go to him." Maybe add a little bit of like the recognition of Salem actually understanding why they're there. Maybe like have a little moment for Salem to figure that out. Moon Runes, I've got to head out. Good luck with the rest of the stream. I'll say yes next time. Have a lovely night, Moon Runes. Love you all. Take care. Get some rest. Enjoy the rest of your eve. And I am glad you are feeling much better. All right. But yeah, Maya, maybe like a moment for Salem to register. Like give that moment a little bit of time to register kind of, oh, this is why we're here. Because I'm curious now how that makes Salem feel. Like, I'm curious how Salem feels about that. Recognition that she understands, yes, yeah. That she understands why they're there and what that means. Or at least in her own capacity, how she understands what that means. Or no. That she understands what it is, but what that understanding means to her is what I'm trying to say. Let's see. Okay. I said, but Talos will not die. He will be waiting, as I told you. I must go to him. Why? What for? You're being purposely vague. Salem placed a finger over his lips. It's a secret. Secret, my ass. Just tell me. I cannot. Talos told me not to tell anyone. Well, he sighed. Stubborn droid. Can you at least tell me where? Why? Because that's how humans work. We worry. We want to know, so we won't worry as much. I'm not gonna lie, Maya. Every scene that you have Salem, and Malamo together. I absolutely adore. You worry about me? Are you gonna tell me? Are you gonna tell me or not? She pointed to her right, to the northern continent, Jelmera. I reach the city of Arbigo. Jelmera? Malamo shot to his feet. Do you know how far that is? Very far away. It will be 2,867 when I arrive, about 3 years from today. Ridiculous, he laughed. All for some accumulation of data? Yes, he is my friend. Humans do for their friends, do they not? This goes far beyond that. You need to think about you, instead of going up on a journey across the world because of your friend asked you to. Malamo held his hands up. But hey, who am I to tell you what to do? All I can do is give you advice and hope you take it, and hope you take to it. Nothing like a synthetic person to warm the heart of a belligerent drunk. Exactly. Yeah, it's a good character. You got a good character dynamic here between them. Salem nodded and smiled. I will use it as I need. Thank you. But now I must go. I wish to visit Talos one last time before I leave. Now? You know they're looking for you. Might as well toss your sword down in front of them and cuff yourself. Wait till tonight. Where do I wait? I have nowhere to go, and the night monsters scare me. I do not wish to be out without a light when they come out. Malamo pointed back to town. Sneak into the back door of my shop. It's in the alley. Keys in the crank of the frame. Wait for me. I'll be there soon. What about you for now? I'm with family. If you understand that, you'll go. Salem nodded. I do. Thank you again, and walked off. Malamo lifted his glasses and rubbed his eyes. She really is just like you, dense as a rock. But enough of that for now. Let's get you cleaned. Let's get you cleaned up, baby girl. Oh, okay. So he cleans the grave. That's cute. That's a good scene. It's a good way to end it. All right. Okay. Section 4. Hello? Salem whispered. She slipped in front of the cracked open window over the pile of scrap. I have returned again, but this time I have sneaked in. Mr. Emerin is not happy with me. Hello, Salem. I remember. I watch from my little corner here. What the hell are you wearing? Salem hopped down from the mini mountain and twirled where she landed. Mr. Malamo gave me some of his daughter's old clothes. Wait, who are we talking to? We're talking to Talus. Sorry. Yep. Might want to establish early on that we're talking to Talus. Like, I know that that's where she was going, but you might want to do that earlier. Mr. Malamo gave me some of his daughter's old clothes. They fit me well, do you not think? She wore a waist-length, Rune Wolf! A infinity comes crashing in via TARDIS? What? Oh, she's back in her home. Gotcha. Hey, Rune Wolf, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. We are reading Maya's short story right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay, she's back home. She's back at her home. I see. Okay, yeah, okay. They fit me well, do you not think? She wore a waist-length black poncho over a light tan and loose skirt that cascaded just before her knees. Shin-high hiking boots brought the outfit together. Nice. Very rough short story. Yep, yeah. Rough but good. It's off to a solid start. Ooh, that's cool. I cannot wait to hear from everyone else. If they like the current draft of my novel, very excited. Very excited for that, Rune Wolf. All right. Okay. It looks fine, Talos clicked his virtual tongue. But it's not well suited for traveling. Though, you're built tougher than most, especially with the weave of skin you have. You'll be fine. I'm worrying for no reason. You will worry too? Salem smiled. I am glad. It makes me feel good. 2. Who else is worrying? Mr. Malamo. Did you tell him the plan? Only that I am leaving. Is that a problem? He is a good man. Not like Mr. Emerin. He cooked food for me to eat for the first. Omu rice, he called it. It was creamy and really good. He said it was from the old world country, now called Hinboru. Apparently he is from there. That's great. But don't go telling everyone you think you can trust. Malamo might be the only exception. I understand, Salem smiled. You do not have to worry about that anymore. I understand better now what a bad person is like, because of what happened today. Or so you say. But look at how you let the humans you work with treat you. And bad comes in many forms, even ones you think you can trust. Not all friends are friends. Salem's eyes flickered as her mind worked out what Talos said. That is hard to process. Are you saying that not all people who I may call a friend are actually my friend? That they are liars? That they would lie if they claim to be my friend? Because that's how humans are. I do not know how to feel about that. You will, one day. But for now, sit down. She sat, leaned against the machine, and plugged in out of habit. Oh! I have also brought a message from Mr. Malamo. He told me to tell you, go fuck yourself. What a lovely thing to hear. And even better that you're using such a gleeful tone. It's made my day. It has? I thought, no, it hasn't. I do not understand. Why did you say that it has? Can you lie? Yes, just as you did today. Also, it was sarcasm. Notice the rise of my tone, invoking a sense of whimsy. Learning to discern sarcasm from genuine speech. It'll keep you out of a lot of trouble. Nice. Nice. Enjoying Talos as well, Maya. Enjoying Talos as well. I will try. Also, Talos, I have a question. What is it? Do I sound different? Malamos said that I have an accent and that I sound robotic today. Talos groaned. What does that mean? Nothing. It's just that I don't know how to explain it. Despite your nature, you have you have little understanding about how you work. Only the basics. That's why I've been teaching you. Let's see if I can explain it in a manner you care about. Humans have emotions, or emotion that are regulated by their brains. With that in mind, I once knew a human whose brain didn't work like others. He would lash out at those he cared about for no apparent reason, harmed himself if he grew too angry, and cried when simple tasks failed. He couldn't control his emotions. His brain malfunctioned, corrupted in a sense. Your code acts similar to a brain. Your code, your brain in essence, doesn't work right. It slowly corrupts itself. The more it corrupts, the more your mannerisms and emotions become human-like. When we optimize your code and rewrite what's been corrupted, you revert to your original state, and thus become more robotic. If I am more human when I am corrupted, why does it need to be rewritten? Would it not be better to be more human? I don't know. Salem sighed. Talos chuckled. Sighing is a human mannerism. So are many of the quirks you display on a daily basis. It seems some things have been embedded within you. Is that a bad thing? Do I need fixing again? Not necessarily. It depends on who you want to be. There's nothing wrong with being more like humans, if that's what you desire. But there is merit in being yourself as an android who merely admires the humans. I believe that if all of your data becomes corrupted, it will kill you. But I can sense your pain, another human emotion that should have been dissolved last night. In time, it may be possible that your natural inclination will change, and this corruption that I fight will be who you are, or this corruption that I fight will be who you are. Like when two stars merge to become one, you may never be fully human, but you won't be as cold as you are now. What will I be if I am neither? You. Salem's eyes flickered as her brain worked to understand what Talos said. It confused her, yet she understood it. I'm digging this, Maya. You're doing the good like transhumanist postulations that you get. You're opening a window for you to really dive deep into not just what it means to be human. Is being human better? Is that a very human centric way of looking at the world? Is to say that the flaws of human are above, are value, like inherently valuable or beautiful in a way. It's opening up the door for you to explore a lot of very uncomfortable questions about what it means to be human, and is that a good thing? What is even human? Yeah. What does that even mean? Yeah, it's a good. You're opening your way up. I'm liking this dip into a deeper complexity of transhumanism. Yeah. Well, and asking deeper questions about it is important. We are ourselves human beings, so naturally we're going to look to our flaws to be like, that is the beauty of being human. But is there indeed a beauty to that? Is it not just a flawed system duplicating itself over and over, maybe evolving? And it's never it's an assumption that evolution means progress, but as we know scientifically, evolution does not always mean better, or if you want to even attribute a moral value to it or a valuation to it, it just happens. All right. No, you are you. You just need to find yourself. Salem's eyes flickered more, faster, brighter. To find myself implies that I must search. But what, where, and who? I do not know what I would search for. How do I find myself? Life. Go out and live. Follow the wind. But what if the wind does not blow in the right direction? That was a metaphor. I know. So was mine. That's nice. That's good, Maya. That's a good little bit there. That's good. I really like that. Smart. Smart writing, Maya. Good writing. I see. Silly girl. Talos. Talos, the machine in the corner, sighed. You worry that the task I have given you will not help you find yourself. I understand that. But life happens no matter where you are. You just have to let it. Come morning, remember. Life will happen. Salem remained quiet, unsure of how she felt about what he said. Until then, let's return to your code. Optimization is key. It's what will let you thrive in time. Okay, it'll at least help. Now, is it not dangerous? Anyone can barge in. Yes, it is. Your CPU usage is 38% on idle. We can get that down to 35 by morning. Your memory leak has ceased, and that's probably because of the new RAM. We may also have just enough time to rewrite the faulty code that makes your hand spaz out. Salem let out a grumbling sigh and puffed up her cheeks. Stop complaining. Are you ready? I suppose. She closed her eyes. Finally. It's not often we can allocate this much time to your maintenance. Oh. And if you see Malamo again, return his message back to him. From me. Nice. Great ending there. Great ending there, Maya. Alright, perfect. Alright. Okay, alright. Section 5. The door swung open and slammed into the wall. Swords flew out of their sheaths, and Salem shot to her feet and unplugged herself. Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's like a page. That's her. Emmerin spat from behind the safety of the conical knights. Are you positive? The woman in front asked, the tip of her sword pointed at Salem. Well, yeah, look at her. Look at her hair. And look at the big fucking sword next to her. Emmerin, who was known by most of the town to be the biggest chicken shit... That's funny. The biggest chicken shit ever lived. Pissed himself when Salem looked him in the eye. She held no anger nor malice, but it was apparent. But Emmerin was also considered by most to be by most of the town to be the biggest idiot ever lived. So this kind of commentary thing you're doing here, Maya, if you want to do it, I would consider doing it throughout. Because you're doing it here, and you're being cheeky, and it's funny. So if you want to add that kind of like extra commentary layer, like there's another person that's kind of adding their own commentary to the situation, like I think that's good. I like that kind of writing. It's very, very in the voice of the person. But you would probably want to like have it be happening more often than not. Let's see. Only the Conical Knights would take his word in any way seriously. They had only been in Mora for a week. Yeah, I have a hard time adding narration because I write very dog. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it kind of depends on whether or not you want to. It's however you want to do it or how you want to approach it. But it just you want to kind of commit to it. Like if you want a sort of added commentary contextualization that gives us information we're privy to, that kind of is like reading more like a narrator, then do that. You just don't want to not do it and then suddenly do it this way. That's the only note. Because I do like that kind of stuff. I find him funny. Like Emmerin, who is known by most of the town to be the biggest chicken shit ever, chicken shit ever who ever lived, pissed himself. Funny line. So it's just kind of it's just you just want to kind of like lean into it. If that's the way you want to go, or don't do it because it'll kind of throw people a little bit because it pulls you out of the more like technical way you're describing the scenes. The woman knight, face obscured by the helmet, lowered her sword to her side. You're the android who lives here. Did this man try to hurt you? What? Emmerin squealed. She continued. An older gentleman came forward and explained the situation to us. He said that this man has taken advantage of you. In accordance with a bill passed 4 months ago, androids within the county of Venwi are equal to humans. If he harmed you in any way, Salem gripped the handle of her sword, and the knights tightened the grip on theirs, all except for the woman knight. There is no need for that, she said. We do not wish to hurt you. But caution is this situation... sorry. Oh, country. My bad. I misread it. I thought county. I'm in sheriff mode. Salem gripped. Sorry. There's no need for that, she said. We don't wish to hurt you, but caution. But caution in this situation isn't to be thrown away. I hope you understand that. Then she frantically corrected herself. Not that you couldn't, but this is a confusing situation. Sorry. Still behind the meat shields, Emmerin howled. Why aren't you arresting her? Equal or not, she attacked me. Salem thought hard about what the woman said. Her scrunched and conflicted face told them so. You probably want, or oh, I'm sorry, no, confronted face told so. Then she remembered that Talos told her about friends. How could she trust this woman and dangerous looking associates whom she didn't know when she wasn't even sure she could trust the ones she considered friends? She couldn't. For the first time, Salem held doubt about just a single human. For the first time, Salem held doubt about not just a single human, but all, those she idealized. Sword in hand, she slung it over her back and leapt through the window over the scrap pile, vaulting through it in a single and swift motion. "Damn, she's fast!" one of the helmed guards yelled. "We better go searching for her. Get every knight in town on it, and send her description out to every knight in the region." The woman knight turned to Emerin and gripped her fists. Though he couldn't see her face, he sensed her hostility. "Heard of hearsay?" she asked. "What you've accused her of is just that, with only your cut as proof. It's the same as the gentleman who voluntarily disclosed and accused you of, what was it? Attempted sexual assault? I think that we need to ask you a few more questions, alone. Get all the grimy little details in order." Emery backpedaled until his back touched the wall. He couldn't speak as the woman guard towered over him and not so gently laid her hand on his shoulder. Meanwhile, Salem scurried back to Malamo's shop. He sat at the kitchen table, slumped over, a bottle in his hand, drooling peacefully asleep. Next to him, on the table, was a faded olive green duffel bag. He packed it for her all the night, awaiting her return from her last visit with Talos, that he strongly objected. It was full, heavy as the sack of gold, brimming with clothes and other simple necessities for everyday life on the road. Though he was in a deeper sleep than a hibernating bear, Salem bowed to him in gratitude, believing him, along with Talos, as her only true friends, then walked out as if a leaf in the wind. Oh, okay. So are you considering doing this as a series, Maya, or is this this is the short story? Because I can see you going both ways. Like, that in of itself is kind of a contained story. Okay, a series? Yeah. It reads well as a series. I could see that. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, it's good. I mean, it needs cleaning up. Some of the phrasing is awkward. I think you could polish a few things here and there. And aside from the notes I gave earlier, the story is really good. It reminds me of a science fiction fantasy story called by Jack Vance called The Last Wish Style. Got it. Yep. But it reminds me a little bit of the Dying Earth, the very first book in the Dying Earth series. There is a vignette story in that about it's a wizard, but it's clearly like a scientist wizard, who is giving who creates this person, and the person is kind of either through magic or technological. This person has learned, sees all humanity, all existence, as being ugly and disgusting, and ends up having to go to the Dying Earth to eventually figure out how to fix this problem. Descending away from the high wizard on the tower to go find yourself in the world. Kind of a similar thing to what you're doing here, but the code, the flawed code, but you're doing something more nuanced here, which I like, with the kind of examination of what it means to be human, what it means to be a machine, and kind of, is one better than the other, or is neither better, and whatever the melding of those two is just something new and unique and to be explored and celebrated. So I think kind of where the ground you're working in is really fertile. And you're right to say it's definitely up my alley, because the moment you start getting into that existential questions about humanity, you're definitely in my wheelhouse for sure. But it's, other than that, I really like it. It just needs polishing. It needs some polishing. I think some tweaking. I'd like to kind of get more about her in the beginning, kind of see her on her own a little bit, see who she is, how she acts, before she's just talking to people. But your characters are strong. As always, I love all your characters. No shock there. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, great job, Maya. It's a great. I think it's a really great short story. I think you did a great job. And now I'm gonna take a drink of water because my voice is very dry. This is supposed to be a post apocalypse world with magic and tech. It does it come through? Well, that's why I said it reminds me a lot of the Dying Earth, because that is the dying. The Dying Earth is fantasy, fantasy as the decay of sci-fi. It's sort of like the world has already reached its pinnacle. Technology has reached its pinnacle. Then it fell into collapse and decay, and then that world of collapse and decay has itself collapsed into further decay, and now all that technological stuff is literally just quote unquote magic. So that's kind of why I was like, it reminds me a lot of the Dying Earth. So I think it does read as post apocalyptic fiction. Yes, that magic, or that not just that technology is what's causing magic, but the world in a way due to technology has ruptured and magic is now reintroduced to the world. But the world itself reads. I'd probably like a little bit more texture, just to kind of paint the world a little bit more. I'd probably like something like that. But just to kind of really paint it a little bit more. But that's really it. That'd probably be my biggest criticism. That and the yeah, because everything else was kind of more just tweaky, like just little tweaks here and there, some cleanup. But because your writing is very technically efficient. You're very quick, and you're very very efficient. I tried to put in a reference. Yeah. I got the Slavic came across. Obviously, Malamo. Yes, the Japanese dish. So it was clearly some form of. Yeah, I put all that stuff together. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that I think that reads just fine. And yes, the Yomu rice. I was very easily. It read that this was from a at one point Japanese culture. And the Slavic thing is well, that's why I thought it was interesting, because that was my first clue into that, was when you dropped the whole Slavic accent thing. So no, your detail, you have certain details that are helping you build the world. I just want more texture to the world. But I know that that's kind of at odds, because the way that you write is very efficient. You tend to write very like action. It's very dialogue heavy, which is good because you write very talky characters, and those are solid. Those talky characters are important. Um, but um, but you do tend to be pretty light on description, or at least painting, like, and which is fine because you don't want to go like heavy, like too like heavy description. I worry that I treat my readers like idiots and giving them too little details for anyone to pick it up. The balance is a bitch. Yes, yeah. I think you, I don't, I don't think you treat people like idiots. It's very clear what you're trying to get across. That's true. So what you're trying to get across is very clear. Um, Depending on your audience, I would say maybe a little. Some of the more conversation pieces are a little bit, but I actually don't, because I feel like you're introducing us to all this stuff. So actually, you should be more explicit, and then you can start mining into those details later. Because if your goal is to dig into this concept of what it means to live, what it means to be human, what it means to be something else, you kind of want to set up the uncomfortable nature of that dichotomy early, which you do a good job of. I think at this point it's just you do need some texture, because I do get confused. I did get hiccuped at a few points about what was happening, because you hadn't really painted the scene that I was walking into. And that's kind of where I think you need to add a little bit more texture, a little bit more detail. And I think we need to live with Salem at the beginning a little bit longer to see who she is and what she is. Because we moved on too quickly before I even knew who she was. And so I kind of want, while they're coming back, while they're climbing out and she's hauling all that stuff, like, give me a scene or something with her. Just by herself doing a thing. I'm with Wildlight. Give a few more details. It's not treating your reader like they're idiots here. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. I definitely don't think you're like talking to them like they're children. You introduce some pretty heavy and heady concepts here early on, Maya. And when in doubt, always add a bit more. It's infinitely easier to trim down than add back. Yeah, agreed with Cryptid. Yep, yep, yep. I think that's probably a good note. But other than that, Maya, it's a fantastic start. It is a fantastic start. Just give me texture. Everything you've got here is good. Just give me a little bit more of it. So that is my note. But great job. Great job. I'm excited to see where it goes. Particularly if you do it as a series. I'm excited to kind of follow. I feel very endeared to Salem. So you did your job there. You got me to care about your character, and I want to see what happens to the character. So you nailed that part, which is kind of the most important part. So good job. All right. Well, we've got a few more minutes. We got like 2 minutes, so we're just gonna hang out now. Ugh. How's editing going, Cryptid? How's editing for Witch Punks? Are you? I'm assuming you've barely been able to even deal with Witch Punks, given all the nonsense you've had to deal with over the past few days. For that, I am very sorry, because I know how that feels. I still love that title. Great title. I agree with Rune Wolf. Fantastic title too. Yep. Does the flow and continuity work well? Part 3 and 4 were switched because of a suggestion. No. Really? 3 and 4 were switched? Okay. Interesting. I didn't even tell. That felt like the natural flow to me, so I'm going to go ahead and say that is the correct flow. Because that felt natural to me. It did not feel... It actually is kind of hard for me to think 4 and 3 flipping back. But I think the flow is work and continuity. Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting. Oh, I gotcha. Originally went home and then was attacked. I think the way you've got it is good. I think, but a suggestion. I think whoever gave you that suggestion, that was a good suggestion because it flowed. Yeah. Moves swiftly. Just needs exactly. It needs a few more details. Yep. But yeah, that the flow, the chronology of events, it's quick. It's boop boop boop. Which is kind of what you want for a short, like, intro beat like this. Oh, no worries, Cryptid. Of course, I've been quiet. I figure you're going through it, so no stress, Cryptid. No stress. Always what you can do, and, no obligations. You're fine. I'm sure you are exhausted. I mean, after stream, I'm gonna go eat, and I was gonna try to get some writing done, but I have a feeling I'm just gonna go take a nap, because I am tired, too. Yeah, but the story moves quickly. The nice thing, Maya, is your stories definitely don't. You don't have you rarely do I feel like your stories drag. If oftentimes particularly with Outsiders, the only issues I've had, I think, is sometimes you move too quick. So there is that. All right, and that is the end of our 4th sprint and the end of reading Maya's short story. Outsiders meanders in the middle, and okay, guys. So I probably never got to that point then. Alrighty, everybody. I am beat. My voice is going a little bit. So I am going to call it. But for everybody out there who is writing, I hope it was a productive sprint. Maya's story is very good, and it was an absolute pleasure and blast to read. So now let us see what we do. Let's see what we got here. Thank you for reading. That was a long one. Oh, no worries. Yeah, that's about the length that usually the things I've been reading on stream take up about two sprints usually. The next story should sit around 200k when finished, and it'll be called The Sum of Life. All right, exciting. Fantastic to read that. I like that title. But all right, everybody, I'm going to call it. I'm going to go eat and go get some rest. For everybody out there who is beat, roughing it, or just, worried about what they're working on, you are all delightfully talented. You are all lovely people. Please go be kind to yourselves, be kind to others. I love you all. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your evening. We will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, should be around the usual time. All right, everybody. Take care of yourself.